guys, it's Jenny. Welcome back once again to Solid Gold. I just wanted to update you guys this week on the situation that's going on out in my fish room that I talked about in last week's video. If you missed that video, I'll put a link to it right here so you can check it out. It'll bring you all up to speed on what's going on out in my fish room. I had to tear down the entire fish room and throw away almost everything that I had out there, and a lot of my fish ended up dying as a result of the parasites that were going on, and it's been like the ultimate nightmare situation for a fish keeper. So yeah, I'm hanging in there though, and I feel a lot better, a lot more optimistic about it this week than I did last week. This whole situation has been really tough for me to talk about. I always try to be as positive as possible on this channel, but on the other hand, I also always try to be really real with you guys here on this channel, because that's what YouTube is all about. I really don't want you guys to think that like I'm up on this pedestal and I never have problems in my fish room, because the reality is no matter how good of a fish keeper you are, you will have problems in your fish room from time to time. And it's not the disasters that define you as a fish keeper, it's how you react to them and respond and make changes in the future so that those disasters don't happen again. So let's have an update on the situation out in the fish room, shall we? Some people, I think, were a little bit confused about what the issue is. The symptoms that my fish are showing are very much in line with something like Costia or Chilodenella, and those are two pretty common ciliated parasites. They're called ciliates that can affect your goldfish or any fish for that matter. I do have a microscope, and I did scrape, it's called scrape and scope. You basically scrape off the fish's slime coat with a slip cover, put it on a slide, and look at it under the microscope. So I did that for two different fish, and I did see some things, but they were kind of more like things that would naturally be in the environment and not really parasites, so I wasn't able to get a definitive diagnosis on what the actual parasites at play are. Really, Graham, you could have broken this. And that's actually really common. A lot of these parasites can evade detection. They're very sneaky little critters. But based on the symptoms that the fish were showing, I mean, the symptoms are perfectly in line with a ciliate parasite infection. So that's what I have been treating for. Also, on top of that though, I have something that's causing infectious dropsy on my goldfish, and dropsy is really more of a symptom than a disease in itself, and dropsy can be caused by a number of different things, which is what makes it so hard to treat. It can be bacterial in origin, it can be parasitic, it can even be viral sometimes. I think what I'm dealing with is either a bacterial or a parasitic cause for the dropsy in my fish. So they're being treated with metronidazole and high heat and Canaplex, and then Epsom salt as well. A temperature of 90 degrees will kill Costia, so that's why I'm keeping the temperature as high as possible. The metronidazole and Canaplex together also help to combat bacterial origins of dropsy, and then the Epsom salt in the water is helping to reduce swelling on the fish. So that's the treatment that they're going through right now, and about halfway through the treatment, the fish were starting to look a lot better, much improved. But then, however, there was a small relapse and some of the symptoms started reappearing, so I looked into it, and apparently the water temperature had dropped by a few degrees, and when it's anything below 90 degrees it doesn't kill Costia anymore. It just kind of hinders it from being able to reproduce, and then anything below, I think it's about like 86 degrees, is just going to speed up the life cycle of the parasites. So it's a really fine line. You really need that 90 degree temperature mark in order to kill them. And my heater wasn't doing the job, it wasn't powerful enough. So, and also we had a little bit of a cooler day, which is weird because it's been super hot here every day. And the temperature dropped by a few degrees. Also, around the same time, I ran out of Canaplex because I had ordered a huge thing of it online, and it didn't get here when they promised me that it would get here. So in the meantime, I had been running around to all these different local pet stores looking for Canaplex. Very few of them carried it, and the ones that did, I bought their entire supply. So I couldn't get Canaplex locally anymore. So there was a short gap of like 2 days where they weren't getting the Canaplex, but they were getting everything else. So I think that, combined with the lapse of temperature, just caused a little mini relapse again, and the fish started showing like the excessive slime coat, the bottom sitting, just general lethargy. So that was a setback for sure, but the Canoplex arrived. I fixed the heat issue, and now things are finally starting to once again look up. Some of you asked what fish I have left at this point. I still have all 4 Jeekins. I have my red and black Wattenai, my orange Wattenai, all 5 broadtail moors, all 4 of my keeper babies, so like the yellow one, the red and white one, the black one, and the white one. I have 30 fry left from my most recent batch of goldfish babies, and then from my adult butterfly telescopes I have Mordecai, Epona, Lana, Queenie, and Banjo. Unfortunately, my adult butterflies were hit the hardest by this outbreak, and they are my favorite fish by far, so that really sucks. In last week's video, I brought up the idea of maybe doing some sort of fundraiser because I'm looking at now having to put my fish room back together and try also to improve it, because I think this major blow up issue was not caused by this, but I did have a lot of issues this winter with temperature fluctuations causing issues with my fish, and it's just the fish room as it is now has not been ideal for ever since I moved in here. Now I have an opportunity with a perfectly clean slate through unfortunate circumstances to kind of put everything back together and make this the fish room that it truly needs to be. So I mentioned the idea of doing a fundraiser for you guys to help me fund this huge project, and I was blown away by the amount of positive response that idea got. So it's really hard to ask for financial help in this way, but I'm going to launch a fundraiser today to help rebuild my fish room. There's a link in the description section below to the kind of the landing page for this fundraising effort. I'll put that down below, and that's where I'll put all the updates about how much money is raised. As the project gets going, I'll put updates about where the money goes to specifically, so anyone that donates, you can see exactly where your money went. There's also going to be a section on that website that I'm calling the donor thank you wall, so anyone that donates, their name will get added to that, and that'll be on the website forever as my way of saying thank you for helping me with this project. I am not using GoFundMe or anything like that. I've just heard some pretty negative things about how high the fees are associated with that, and I don't want the money that you guys are donating towards this project to have to go towards more fees than is really necessary. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to do PayPal, and also Venmo. If you'd rather use Venmo, I'll have a link for that too. There'll be a link in the description section of this video. Also try to superimpose it on the video somewhere here. So what needs to be done out in the fish room? First, we have to clean and paint the concrete floors with a non-slip paint. The walls have to be insulated. Over the winter, I had massive temperature fluctuations from day to day, and it caused a lot of issues. So the walls are going to be insulated and drywalled, so it's going to look like a finished off interior room instead of like an ugly metal building. We're also going to add some windows to let in some of that natural sunlight. And probably another one of the most important things is we're going to run a water line from my main hookup in my house out to the fish room. I have been operating this fish room for an entire year with no water source in the fish room. I can't even believe I just said that. I've been running a super long hose from the outdoor water spigot to my house, and then running that out to the fish room. And that's how I've been filling up my tanks. It is super slow. Something I found out after I bought this house is that the pipes in this house were made too small. So if you're running any one of the faucets in this house, the water pressure in the rest of the house is diminished by about 50%. I can't be filling up my tubs in my fish room and running the dishwasher at the same time or doing laundry at the same time. And if I have a water source out in the fish room, it'll make that a lot better. Also, the problem I've been contending with is because I'm using the spigot on the outside of my house, I have no control over the temperature of the water. So we're gonna run a water line out to the fish room, install its own water heater out in the fish room. Also going to have a nice big utility sink. That change alone will be drastic and amazing. I also need to add an air conditioning unit, some source of heat for the fish room, because although this is Florida, we do have some cold days, believe it or not, and it would be nice to be able to take the edge off those cold days with like baseboard heating or something. Also definitely need a really heavy duty dehumidifier out in that room. And lastly, the roll-up door has to go. It's really functional and I like it in a lot of different ways, but it is impossible to insulate, and insulation insulation in that room is one of my biggest priorities. So the roll-up door has to go, and it's going to be replaced by French doors, so I'll still be able to open the doors nice and wide and get big tanks in and out of there, but it'll be well insulated. I'm going to be hiring a contractor for all of this stuff, and that's what I've been working on all this week. I've been actually pulling my hair out about it a little bit, not gonna lie, because I've called about 10 different general contracting companies and none of them will answer the phone or call me back when I leave a message. But I do have a couple of other leads of different contractors that I can try. So I'm gonna try those today, and as soon as I get an estimate of what this project is going to cost, I will share that with you guys and give you updates along the way. I will also definitely be sharing with you guys a breakdown of the cost of every specific thing, not only because I want you guys to know where your money is going to specifically, but also as an educational tool for any of you guys out there that are thinking about building your own fish room. You'll be able to see about how much you can expect to put into it before the project is, you know, at a certain point. So after all of that, the fun stuff can happen, which will be adding some fish tanks, moving the fish back into the room, down the line adding some new fish into the room as soon as the issues are resolved. It's gonna be great. My goal in creating this fish room is really to be able to keep making interesting and informational videos for you guys on a number of different topics. And what I really want to accomplish in this space is to get some really nice big display tanks in this space to put all kinds of different fish in it and show you guys to help you learn about them. Obviously there's going to be some beautiful goldfish display tanks out there, but I also want to continue expanding into other types of fish as well. You guys know I have discus and I'm loving them so far, and I'm even thinking about other types of fish that I could put in this fish room. Like there's some cichlids that are really beautiful. Just the possibilities are really endless. I could do a planted tank. I also want some room for housing adult breeder goldfish and rearing goldfish fry. Breeding goldfish these days is a very, very tiny part of what I actually do in my fish room, but I still want to keep doing it. It's been a dream of mine for a long time to breed the perfect butterfly telescope goldfish, and I still want to accomplish that. Goldfish breeding is one of the things that I get the most questions about, and people are the most curious about that, so I want to be able to show you guys that process too. I also need to install, and this is a must, some sort of automated water change system, and that would make having this many tanks a lot more feasible, honestly. I'm even playing with the idea of maybe now, maybe somewhere down the road, having a truly monster fish tank of some sort, like maybe 1,000 gallons, somewhere around there. Like I know that's probably a little small in terms of monster fish tanks, but you know, I don't want to go crazy with it, but I do want to incorporate some of these like really awesome monster fish into my fish room too. I really have a soft spot for alligator gars. I think they're awesome and also really cute fish, and I would love to have one of those in my fish room too, to be able to show you guys about them as well. Also, another idea, if funds allow, would be to do that 200-gallon display aquarium that would be behind me here in my office when I'm filming videos like this, so that you guys can not only listen to what I'm saying, but you can also see beautiful fish swimming around behind me. I think it would make the videos a lot more interesting. So those are my ideas and my goals for this fish room space. Over the past 7 years, guys, I have made over 300 educational and hopefully entertaining videos on my YouTube channel. My goal has been from the beginning, and it will always be, to foster a greater appreciation for the hobby of goldfish keeping and also fish keeping in general, which is why I devote so much of my time and energy into every single video that I put out. There are lots of easier jobs out there that require a lot less effort for a far greater return, but this is my passion. It's what I do, and I can't see myself doing anything else. And today I'm asking you guys for help. Let's make these fish room dreams a reality and continue to inspire a greater appreciation for the hobby of fish keeping and grow our shared hobby together. Thank you so much. I look forward to everything that we can accomplish together, and I will definitely be keeping you guys updated on the cost totals and how much we raise and where it's all going, and any updates that come up, I will definitely keep you guys in the loop. So until next time, stay gold. Your own journey of fish keeping. Hi, Sammy. You want to come say hi?